Hey everybody, JC here with another TNI toy review, and today's review is in association with JediInsider.com, your #1 news source for everything Star Wars. And today we're going to take a look at the new Star Wars The Black Series 6-inch Clone Trooper figure from Hasbro. And this figure comes packaged in your typical standardized Black Series box packaging from the first year. We've got the Star Wars The Black Series logo up at the top with the little medallion image next to that. Then the figure's clearly displayed in the window box packaging. We've got the orange highlights in the background with like the Death Star lighting. And then we've got the name of the figure. This is number 14 in the series, also in bright orange writing. Now, starting next year with the next wave, which will kick off the second year of Black Series figures, we'll start seeing the packaging with the blue highlights, and they'll start over with the numbering, so we'll go back to number 1. And then on the back of the packaging we have a little brief bio telling us the clone troopers are genetically engineered super soldiers who are deployed into combat for the first time on Geonosis, where they battle the separatist droid army. The droid army is in full retreat. And then we get a image of some clones in front of a Republic gunship. And then again more of the orange highlights. Okay, so let's get this figure open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging. Now, even though we've had several variations of the Stormtrooper figure released so far in Hasbro's 6-inch line, this is our first Clone Trooper figure that we're getting. And it's a very generic looking, right off the assembly line, clean, crisp armor, no dirt or anything, scratch marks or anywhere on the armor. So it's a very clean looking figure, very pristine white. Unlike many of the 3 1/4 inch versions of the clone that have like removable helmets, so we can see like the Jango Fett head, this does not have a removable helmet. It's just you can pop the head off, but there's no head sculpt or anything in the helmet itself. Nice detail. I mean, like I said, it's a basic generic clone, but it's got nice details, especially on the back. You've got the little marks on the back. He's got the belt sculpted on with pouches and such, and then the armor. He's got the little tip. He does have a little red mark on the top of his helmet. I don't know if that's meant to be there. I assume that is. I don't recall there being red on the top of Clone Trooper helmets like that, just like a little dot of red. So I'm not 100% sure if that's not a painter or what, but at least on my figure he's got that tip of red on the tip of his helmet. But otherwise you're just looking at flat white and then with the black mixed in. And he's got a little bit of gray trim on the bottom of his boots. For accessories, the figure comes with 2 weapons. He comes with his standard Clone Trooper blaster and then a larger rifle. And I'm sure both of these have specific names to them, which I don't really know what they are, but I'm sure some of you Star Wars experts out there can actually name these rifles. But as far as accessories go, these are the only 2 that he comes with. The figure's hands are sculpted in a way where he can hold basically either blaster in either hand. You just kind of have to hide in there, but he can get it in either hand, so you can have him hold both weapons at the same time if you wanted to, or left or right-handed, or you could do like 2-handed poses holding the rifle and such. Basically just like the Stormtrooper. And the rifles are pretty durable plastic. The smaller blaster is a more flexible rubbery type plastic, but the larger rifle is a firmer plastic, so less bendability in the longer rifle. So the figure stands just a little over 6 inches tall, about 6 1/4 inches tall. He is about the same size as the 6-inch Stormtrooper that Hasbro has previously released for the Black Series. So the Clone Troopers may be a little bit taller with the tip of his helmet, but for the most part they're about the same height. Okay, so articulation on this figure is pretty standard for what you would expect from the 6-inch Black Series. If you own like one of the Stormtrooper figures, then you pretty much know what to expect with this figure. The head is on a ball hinge joint, so he can look down and left and right. Now with the helmet, you can't really look back too much. It prohibits the hinge joint from going back too much. You can kind of push it back, but then it just kind of falls back into looking straight ahead. Now, if you were wondering, like if you were thinking about wanting to put a Stormtrooper helmet on the body of a clone or vice versa, unfortunately, the hole for the ball joint on the Stormtrooper helmet is bigger than the actual ball joint, so it doesn't really fit well, and vice versa. So you can't really interchange your clone trooper head with your Stormtrooper body and vice versa with this figure, unfortunately. I don't know if you'd really want to do that, but I don't know, for some reason the thought crossed my mind, so I just wanted to point that out. Arms are attached with your standard ball hinge joints. Now, because of the shoulder pads on the figure, you can't really get the figure to put his arms outwards. He can go forward and back, and he's got good rotation, but you can't get him to put his arm straight out because of these shoulder pads on his arm. He does have a bicep swivel, and he's got the double jointed elbows, and then he's got the hinged swivel wrist, so he's got the up and down movement at the wrist, just like most of the figures in the Black Series have. He's got the midsection joint, so he's got rotation there and some up and down movement. Again, the armor pieces kind of limit how much down and back that you can move it, but he does have that joint there. Legs are with ball joints, and he can do the splits about that much. Again, because the armor, not a whole lot, but you can get his leg forward good, and then out and back pretty good. He's got a swivel where the armor meets the black portion of the costume, so he's got a swivel there. He's got the double jointed knees, and then he's got the hinged ankle pivots, and 2 peg holes at the bottom of his feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, it's a pretty good figure, especially if you want to army build clones. Then I think this will be a nice one to add to your collection. As I mentioned before, it's a very generic looking, crisp and clean clone. But I'm sure as the line continues, we'll get different variations of the clone release. So, I'm sure with different colors and command structure and all that stuff, we'll get plenty of different clones. I would have liked maybe for them to have given this a removable helmet, just to kind of give it something a little extra. I mean, for the most part, as I said, this is kind of very generic looking figure, so I think the removable helmet would have been a nice touch for the Black Series. But as it stands, like I said, it'll make a good army builder if you're into wanting to build a clone army. This figure is hitting shelves now, so if you want to pick it up, start checking your local stores or your favorite online e-tailer. And that's my review. Until next time, I'll check you later.